YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with yet another Washington football team video. And in today's video, I'm here with another post-game video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, help the Washington football team. And let's get straight into today's video. So the Washington football team loses to the Baltimore Ravens 31-17, as I expected. I already expected us to lose this game. That's why I'm not that mad, because I already knew going into this game we were going to lose. We kept it fairly close, closer than what I thought it was going to be. 34-17 was my final score prediction, and they were three points shy of that. But the game, or the final score, does not tell you how the game went. The game was fairly close throughout the whole game, honestly. Then they pulled away somewhat in the second half. Dwayne Haskins speaking, he had a very solid game. I think he was like 30. Some people say mediocre to solid. I'll give him solid because he had no turnovers. Yes, he missed a couple passes. He missed the pass to, I think, Terry McLaurin that was behind him. He missed the pass to J.D. McKissick. He missed the pass down to Will right down the sideline. He missed the pass to Antonio Gibson. That was a flat route, and he overthrew him. How do you overthrow someone in a flat? So he did have a couple of missed passes, but he did kind of come back after being under fire the whole week of him possibly getting benched. He did turn around and have a decent, somewhat good game. Didn't have no turnovers. Made some good throws. Also did force it into coverage one time. Thrown off his back foot a couple times. I understand you throwing off your back foot, but you got to make that that pass to J.D. McKissick as the wheel route. And even if he did throw a perfect ball, J.D. McKissick was not looking for that ball. His head was turned this way and the ball was that way. So it was just miscommunication all over the board. Let's just be real for a second. The Baltimore Ravens are not as good as I thought. And now, after playing them, I gave them the benefit of the doubt last week because they were playing the Chiefs. But after playing them and seeing them for myself, they are not winning the AFC North. I honestly don't see a way they win AFC North, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to run away with that division, honestly speaking. The Baltimore Ravens are not as good as I thought they were. Lamar Jackson, yeah, he had a big run, but outside of that big run, he was overthrowing guys. Now, he did have a good touchdown pass to Mark Andrews, I think a couple times, actually. But the first half, he seemed rattled, but he did pick it up towards the second half. So maybe I'm just over-exaggerating, but I just don't think the Baltimore Ravens aren't as good as I thought they were now single-handedly playing them. But, of course, the media and the NFL network, of course, they're not going to show. They're only going to show the good plays. But if you actually sat through this game, you will understand that Baltimore was not as good as I thought they were going to be. We had a chance to win this game single-handedly, and just a mix of things, cost us this game. A turnover. And then also the fake punt. The fake punt really sucked the momentum out of us because we scored a touchdown and we said, come on, defense, get a stop right here and we could possibly tie this game up here. And they got to stop fourth down and the fake punt. I'm not even mad at the fake punt. It was just a brilliant play call by John Harbaugh. I was not mad at the play call. I wasn't mad at the outcome because the defense, let's just be real, it's 4th and 7. You're not expecting a fake punt, especially where they were. So that fake punt really sucked the momentum out of us because we were 7-14. We get a stop and we're thinking, okay, we have a chance to tie this game. Nope, they get the 4th down conversion on the fake punt. They go down and score 21-7. Now, I would say this: Kendall Fuller had a somewhat good game. Some plays he did get burned, but it was actually zone, so I wouldn't put that on him. But he did have 2 interceptions, so shout out to Kendall Fuller for having 2 interceptions on the day. One was towards the end of the half where we had a chance to put up points. Instead, we settled for 3. He had a great game, 2 interceptions. But also, with that first interception that he had, Ron Rivera, we have to take a shot towards the end zone. You cannot play conservative down there because that was really the only few times that we really were able to move the ball or even got the ball in plus territory. The defense side us up, and once again, we failed to convert for 6. We got 3 on that possession, but we needed 6. Now, speaking of the field goals, Dustin Hopkins is horrible. He needs to be out of here, man. Honestly, I know one thing about Dustin Hopkins is that he doesn't miss 2 field goals in a row, but still, you have to cash in. He's been really off to a rough start towards the to the 2020 campaign, and I'm on the verge of letting him go. But at this point, I wouldn't let him go. I'll probably just wait towards the end of the season because it's no good kickers out there, honestly. And Dustin Hopkins, man, I'm gonna keep on to him, but at the same time, it's like you're this close of being let go. And I would, if we had more kickers out there, I would let him go. But since there's not really no good kickers out there, I wouldn't let him go. And yeah, man, but it sucks because we had a chance to win this game, and 31-17 was your final score prediction or score, and it does not tell the game. Dwayne Haskins had a brilliant game. Terry McLaurin was cooking their defenders all over the board. Marcus Peters could not check Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin was baking him to start to finish. He had 2 penalties on. He was holding Terry McLaurin twice. And also, Terry McLaurin was just gashing them. I think Terry McLaurin had 10, 11 catches for 118 yards. He was just gashing them. And Dwayne Haskins had a beautiful pass to Terry McLaurin, deep ball that led him to the 1 yard line. It was a touch. It was the first time I ever seen Dwayne Haskins put a touch on the ball. And Terry McLaurin was able to run under it and catch it. That's what we need to see more of. That's why we're so mad as fans, is because we see Haskins able to do it. We know that he's capable of doing it, but sometimes he just seems rattled and doesn't seem to be, I guess, relaxed in a way. And that was shown today. Dwayne Haskins had 3 sacks on the day. 2 wasn't his fault, but the one when we're in the first and goal, he takes a sack, or I think it was first and goal was a false start. And then it backed us all the way up. I think second and goal or first and goal after the penalty, he takes a sack and he runs all the way back to, I believe, like the 35-yard line. So now it's second and goal, and I think we ran it, or we throw a quick slant to someone, gained a couple yards. In third goal, we run a screen to J.D. McKissick, didn't go anywhere. And then instead of going for the field goal, which I was kind of pissed at Ronald Rivera for, instead of taking your points, the score would have been 28-13. Instead of taking your points, you go for it and don't convert for it. Dwayne Haskins throws an underneath route, or not an underneath route, but not enough to get towards the end zone to Isaiah Wright on fourth and goal. If you're going to go for the fourth and goal, why not take a shot to the end zone? That is something Haskins has to work on too. But also speaking, Ron Rivera, why not take your 3? Now the score's only 13-28. You get a stop, you're right back in it. But instead, you don't do that. So Ron Rivera has a lot to clean up, and I know this week was probably a bad week for him because he was fatigued the whole day. We missed a lot of practice this past week, and we knew this was going to happen. He missed a lot of practice this past week, and he just looked out of it today. He didn't look very well throughout the game, but I don't know if that affected his play calling, or his decision making, I should say. But I don't think it did. But Ron Rivera has to be better in that category. Dwayne Haskins has to be better, and being able to control the clock. You know what I'm saying? Towards the end of that half, Ron Rivera should have called the timeout, but he was trying to see what his young quarterback was going to do, and his young quarterback took forever to hike the ball towards the end of the half. Even speaking after towards the end of the half, second half, Dwayne Haskins came out solid. He came out completing passes left to right, but also it wasn't enough because he had a lot of plays where it's like, come on, Dwayne, you got to fix it. So honestly speaking, our MVPs for this game is Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson. I would give it more towards Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson's a stud, man. We hit him right on the nose. Man, I'm so glad we have Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson, he made a couple good plays where he looked like Adrian Peterson. He ran to the left and he cut it all the way back to the right for a gain of, I believe, like 15 on the play. He had a touchdown. He was catching passes. So Antonio Gibson seems to be the second weapon outside of Terry McLaurin, and I'm really glad that we hit it on the head with one Antonio Gibson. So with that being said, I believe I covered everything. Dwayne Haskins having a solid game, not a good game, but a manageable game to at least last on one more week against the Rams. Defense played okay. Secondary was still a little sus, you know what I'm saying? Letting Marquise Hollywood Brown run across the middle. Kevin Pierre-Louis, why are you in coverage versus Mark Andrews? I talked about Antonio Gibson. I talked about Terry McLaurin, and also the special teams. I think that's it. I think I covered everything. So with that being said, that was just a little quick post-game video. We lose 31-17, and it's time to bounce back versus the Baltimore Ravens, the LA Rams next week. Now, with that being said, I believe that the Cowboys are losing right now. I think they already lost, but if they haven't already lost, they're losing bad right now. Last time I checked, it was 30-14, 30-41. So hopefully the Browns did not screw it up. So with that being said, it's been boy One Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe, help to watch the football team. More on this game will be tomorrow, but this is obviously my quick little recap. So like, comment, subscribe, help to watch the football team. I'm out. Peace.